Hello and welcome back to the Common Colt Podcast. A Colts podcast is real takes and no clickbait. I'm Josh Hudgens, joined by Dan Hertzler. Dan, Colts making big waves.
Yeah, finally, man. Finally, after quiet period, but we kind of expected that. Make one of the big trades that we kind of predicted. Didn't necessarily say it was going to necessarily happen. We thought maybe Ryan Kelly, Buckner might be some of the bigger moves, but Stephen Gilmore was a guy that you looked at his contract, you look at his age, and he's a guy that we thought might get traded. Kind of shocked that it was only a fifth round pick, but there he goes off to the Cowboys. Josh, what's your first reactions to that?
Yeah, I think we weren't competing for a Super Bowl anyway. They got some assets out of it. Truth is, Ramsey went for a third round pick, so Gilmore being probably a 1 year rental for Dallas probably wasn't going to be long anyway. So I'll take the fifth round pick, and I just feel like the Colts might be entering a rebuild.
Interesting, and that's kind of where we want to talk a little bit about. Does this trade indicate that? And we want to kind of put it on a sliding scale. One indicating there's a complete rebuild, start everything, get rid of everybody. 10, they're ready to win the Super Bowl. Josh, between the 1 and the 10, where do you actually think the Colts are right now on this rebuild talk?
Well, it's really hard, but I think they're closer to a rebuild than they are a Super Bowl right now. I'm pegging them at a 3.5, 4 maybe. And look, the truth is, when you just hire your head coach,
Yeah.
you don't even have a quarterback yet. Your defensive tackle Buckner's probably on the trade block. He's aging. You just traded Gilmore. Your best player, defensive player, Shaq Leonard's hurt. You don't know if he's gonna come back the same. We need a pass rusher. We need a number one receiver. Your starting center, your Pro Bowl center, is aging and he's on the trade block. Mo Alley Cox, the guy you just gave a decent contract, is on the trade block. And by the time you get all this stuff sorted out, your best player on offense, your running back, his shelf life might be coming to an end. So listen, I don't see the Colts winning the Super Bowl in the next 4 seasons. So I think we're closer to a big rebuild than we are Super Bowl.
Wow. I mean, well, all those are pretty compelling arguments. Even when you say it there, I'm thinking your 4 is sliding down even further, maybe down to a 3 or a 2. Hey, I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic. I think the Colts are more on the positive side. That they again, I'm not being crazy. They're not Super Bowl contenders, but they are closer to that. So I'm going to give them a 5.5. Okay, they're on the other side of it because here's why. Last year, I think, was just a perfect storm of chaos. Chaos from the coaching staff, chaos from the quarterback position, chaos from just everything up in upheaval. I mean, it was just a circus. That can be rectified pretty fast with some good leadership from the top. And I really like Shane Steichen. I think he is going to bring something to this team. I think he's young. I think he's innovative. I think he just came from a system that, hey, the Eagles don't really have that superstar quarterback, but they built a really good team. And I think he saw that. And I think the Colts have some really good pieces that you can build a really good team with. Hey, this offensive line was bad, but I think they can be better, and I think they'd be actually good again. Hey, Jonathan Taylor didn't have a good year, but I think he can be one of the top running backs in the league. That defense wasn't spectacular with a lot of splash plays, but they were solid, and they didn't really give up a ton of bad plays, and they kept their team in it. Special teams we don't talk a lot about, but the Colts just went out and got a really good kicker. I mean, this guy's been 90 plus in his accuracy over the last 2 years, and above league average. Hey, we haven't had a really good kicker in a long time. I'm excited, for the kicker. So I think there's pieces. Now we got a hit on this draft. This draft is so important, and that 5.5 can drop really quickly down to a 3.5 or a 2.5 if we don't get a quarterback, we don't get a receiver, we don't get some defensive pressure. I'm not thinking we're going to hit on all 3 of them, but if we get 2 of the 3, hey, we're going in the right direction. And so I'm not buying the Colts in a rebuild. I think we've got some potential.
Yeah, I'm a natural optimist. Now, I look at Ballard and some of what he's done as of late, and I get a little nervous, but NFL teams can turn around quickly. You look at the Chiefs, who they were a playoff contender more often than not with Alex Smith. You draft Mahomes, all of a sudden you're a dynasty. I mean, so if the Colts can, I mean, it sounds a lot easier said than done, but if they can hit on the quarterback position, and if this guy is a hit, all of a sudden that we know it as Colts fans, it changes your franchise. So, and some of these other problems can get masked for a little bit. Now, it's going to be interesting over the next several days what we see, what they do with Buckner, what they do with Ryan Kelly. Maybe it might be a little more telling if they completely blow the ship up, or if they're just going to kind of add a few more holes in the ship that they have to patch, or if they're going to have to redo the whole haul. But we'll find out. And it's interesting. I think freeing up the cap space and making some of these moves is necessary. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the Chiefs are really the team that I would look at right now to give me my hope. And that wasn't who I was thinking about. I was actually thinking about the Eagles 2 years ago, getting a new coaching staff, making some big moves, making some players, finding their quarterback. But another team that I think the Colts should really look at is the New York Giants. Think about the Giants. They were a train wreck for years and years and years and years. They go out and get the right coach. He fixes Daniel Jones. Saquon Barkley has a healthy year. That defense starts showing up, and they make a run and make the playoffs, win a playoff game. So I think we can see it right there at the New York Giants. That's the hope we have for the Colts Nation. We got to be positive on this. I know some devastating news comes out, losing the 1-1, and we all were kind of shook by that, and woe is me kind of thing, a cloud over our heads. But you know what? Now that the dust has settled a little bit, we still have some pieces. We still got to be optimistic in this. And, some of these cap dumps, it kind of looks weird, but I don't think we're in rebuild yet. I think we got a lot to offer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Obviously, it happened in our division. Jacksonville, they went from worst pick to playoffs quickly. Now, we'll just have to wait and see, guys. Let us know what you think. We're both pretty close on the scale to the middle. I think this thing could go either way quickly. So just comment what your thoughts are. And again, thanks for watching the Common Colt podcast.